So Dragon's Dogma 2 is nearly here, guys. It's only around 24 to 40 odd hours away, depending on where you are in the world. And we have just gotten a few little extra bits of information over the last few days. So today I wanted to kind of just quickly break down all of those final pieces of news for Dragon's Dogma 2. Now, the first thing is to do with the release time of the game. Now, obviously, if you're on console, the game will just be launching at midnight, no matter where you are in the world. As soon as it hits midnight on the 22nd of March, the game will be live for those consoles. However, for PC players, the game does actually have a global release date, meaning that every single person on PC will get it at the same time. So as you guys can see on screen, I'm not going to bother reading through all of them, but you can just pause it and see what time the game will be launching depending on where you are in the world, as I do often see a lot of confusion when it comes to the PC side of things. Now, like I said, on console, it will be at midnight. However, for those of you who are buying the game on Xbox, there is actually a trick to get the game a little bit early depending on where you are in the world. So I'm going to give you guys that tip now. For those who aren't on Xbox and just want to skip ahead through the next section, I'll leave some timestamps down below, but if you're on Xbox, you definitely want to stick around for this bit. Now, before going into your settings, it is worth adding on Xbox, it is worth pre-ordering the game before doing this, just to kind of avoid messing with your currency side of things. I've done this before and it actually changed my currency to New Zealand dollars, which doesn't really matter too much. It's just I prefer to keep the actual currency as Australian dollars. So pre-order the game first and then change these settings in order to get the game early. Now you want to go into your settings, you want to go to the system tab. Firstly, you want to go to this time section here and you want to change that to Auckland, Wellington. From there, you want to then go back and go to the language and location section. Down the bottom here where it says location, you want to change your location to New Zealand. This will then actually force you to restart your console, and after that you are absolutely good to go. This means that you will be getting the game as soon as it hits midnight in New Zealand, and all you need to do is just Google midnight New Zealand and that will actually convert that to your own time, so you'll know when the game is actually going to be live for you. Once it is March 22nd wherever you live, you can then just change back to the regular time zones and stuff like that. So you only need to do this initially, but obviously you don't need to keep it there permanently once it has hit the 22nd. So if you guys are on Xbox, definitely do that. If you're in America, for example, you can get the game, I believe, around 16 hours early, which is essentially an entire day before launch. So be sure to do that. This works for essentially every single game that ever launches on Xbox. Now, the next thing to go through is the preload. The preload is now available. So for anyone who has pre-ordered the game, you can preload the game now. It's gone live on the 20th of March. Now, it is the 20th in Australia. If it's not the 20th for you as you're watching this, I believe at midnight, that's when the preload will go live, though it might have gone early already. So it is worth checking, but if it's not available to pre-download just yet, you'll only have to wait until the 20th of March. As for the file sizes of those preloads, Dragon's Dogma 2 comes in at 69 gig on the Xbox, roughly 64 gig on PS5, and it is unconfirmed on PC apparently, but it will be just roughly the same too. I'd imagine no more than about 70 odd gigabytes. Now, on top of that as well, there is actually a demo that is out already and has been out for over a week now too. Now, it's not a full-on demo, this is just the character creator, but it is still worth doing because this can save you guys hours of playtime on launch day. For me personally, I am so picky when it comes to creating my characters that this shit always takes me like 2 hours. And so being able to do this early means that when the game launches, you can simply just load that character and start the game straight away. So in the meantime, while you're waiting for the game to launch, definitely get the character creator. If you just search Dragon's Dogma 2 in the store, no matter which platform you're on, this will pop up and it's only about 5 gigs. So definitely do this if you want to save yourself some time on launch day. Now, before we go any further, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. Roughly 99.1% of all the views that have happened on this channel within the Dragon's Dogma 2 timeframe have been from people who aren't subscribed. So if you're watching the video and you're not subscribed, it would massively help me out. But with that being said, let's get back into the video. Now, the next thing is just PC related. This is the system requirements for the game. Once again, I'm not going to go through and read all of them. You can just pause the video and see what those requirements are. Honestly, for the minimum requirements, they're actually pretty damn low. I thought it would be a little bit more intensive than this, but obviously this is the minimum specs. As for the recommended specs, you are obviously going to have a relatively beefy PC because this game seems to be pretty damn big. However, what I will say is just judging based on the file size, considering how big the game is, the fact it's only around 70 gig is actually a really good sign. That means it is most likely going to be pretty well optimized. Generally, if a game is really big and it's also like 150 gig, that means that there can be a lot of poor optimization. But if a game is that small, considering how large this game is actually going to be, that is actually a really good sign, especially for PC players, because obviously the performance can be a lot more up and down when it comes to PC compared to on consoles. Now, the next little bit of information is to do with some of the official pawns. Now, for those who weren't aware, there are actually some official pawns that have been put into the game that are based on like creators and stuff like that, which is a pretty cool touch. And I have actually just updated the list to add a few more creators to that as well. Once again, I'm not going to go through and read all of them out just because I'm trying to get through this news video as quick as I possibly can. But as you can see on screen, there are plenty of creators to choose from. There's only a few in here that I've personally heard of. And there are a lot of Asian creators. Obviously, Capcom is based in Asia, so that was to be expected. But hopefully you guys have some people in here who you follow, for example, and you can actually get their pawns into your own game, which is a pretty awesome touch from Capcom. So I'm definitely excited to see how that goes. Now, lastly, there is a final bit of information that has come out in the last few days related to the length of the story. I haven't seen this officially confirmed from Capcom, so just take this with a grain of salt. But apparently the length of the story is going to be roughly 37 hours, obviously give or take, just depending on how good you are or how quickly you focus on that main story. 37 hours for just the main story is pretty damn lengthy, and then they've said that finishing all content will actually be well over 100 hours. So that is pretty much what we expected. We always knew that the game was going to definitely be a 100+ hour game. So definitely nothing surprising there, but it is good to, I guess, nearly officially hear this. This has come out from like IGN and a few other companies. I haven't seen any official word necessarily from Capcom themselves, like I said, but I'm going to imagine if IGN has posted this, they have probably received word from Capcom themselves, and that is definitely very exciting. I am very keen to spend well over 100 hours playing Dragon's Dogma 2. But that's pretty much it for all of the new little, I guess, final bits of information before the game launches. For those who don't know everything there is to know about the game, there are 2 videos on the channel that you guys may very well enjoy. I've got one video going over everything you could possibly need to know about the game, and then I've got another video going over which edition you guys should buy, going over every single difference between the standard edition and the deluxe edition, all the pre-order bonuses and stuff like that. So be sure to go and check those out before launch. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I will catch you guys on the other side of the Dragon's Dogma 2 launch day.